Let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. I know some people want super flex. Some people want one quarterback startups. So I'm going to give you the best of both worlds. We are going to first get a super flex startup underway. And then directly after, we will jump into a one quarterback league for everybody who's playing in those one quarterback formats. We're going to be selecting at pick 3 here. I feel like the majority of drafts that we've been doing as of late, we've been choosing first round picks in the later half of the draft. So this one we're going to be mixing up just so we can give you a sense of how I'm approaching different dynasty startups at different draft picks. But thank you so much for everybody coming to hang out with us in the live chat. Got a lot to talk about. I have a lot that's happened over the past few days. And oh my gosh, okay. The ADP here is completely messed up. I'm actually going to see if we can pause this real quick and yeah, get the scoring updated. That way the ADP is not horrendous for everybody participating. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's take Josh Allen here at pick 3. I mean, there's not much to discuss, right? It's just what elite level quarterback are you taking? If Josh Allen would have gone at 2, then maybe you could have gone back and forth between Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow at pick 3. In reality, it probably would have gone with Jalen Hurts, but getting Josh Allen at pick 3 is one hell of a value. I mean, this is someone that should go at pick 2 in my mind. Chris, welcome to being a flocker on this channel as well. You know, I'm super happy to see you out in every single live stream with us. And before we are up on the clock again, I got to flex on y'all. If you were on the Flock Fantasy live stream yesterday, y'all know we are live streaming there literally every single day, Underdog Fantasy Drafts. You heard me talking about how yesterday morning on my run, I ran by Dave Chappelle, and we were going to Rogan's Comedy Club that night, my girlfriend and I, and we were like, okay, is Dave Chappelle going to stop by? Well, Dave Chappelle stopped by, so I ran by him yesterday morning on my run. Then we got to see him do a spot last night. And then earlier this morning, sadly, I did not get a picture of either or. You're just going to have to believe me on that front. But I did get a picture of this. I did get proof of this. At the gym this morning, hell, I run into Bijan Robinson. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Today and yesterday have been pretty good days. Been pretty damn lucky. Bijan Robinson going off the board at 1. Hell, maybe we should have just gone ahead and taken our guy at pick 3. And y'all know, I mean, I am very, very biased when it comes to Bijan, and that's not helping. That's awesome. But yes, I feel like we've been very lucky over the past 2 days. I don't know if we could be luckier. But here, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown going off the board at pick 12 and the 201. I don't know if those are auto picks. I mean, if you are in a dynasty startup, in my mind, there's no way in hell you can be taking A.J. Brown over Garrett Wilson. Or honestly, a couple different other quarterbacks in that range. So let's see if that guy comes back in with this. But yeah, our next draft will be a one quarterback draft. So if he's auto drafting, we'll have to boot him out quickly. And Ryan asking, do you feel like it makes the most sense to make a year 1 punt in startup drafts? So in general, what I like doing is I like zigging when other people are zagging. So if you are in a startup draft and you notice that everybody else in your league is going, okay, I'm going to go productive struggle. I'm going to try to play for 2024, 2025. There, it probably makes sense for you to actually try to win right away. Whereas on the opposite end of the spectrum, if everybody's trying to get production this season and everybody's willing to trade away their future picks, then you should probably take the value and you should probably go for a year down the line. So what I really don't like doing is saying this is the only way to win. This is the only way that you can do something. In reality, I don't think you should go into the startup draft with just one mentality and one plan in mind. I think you should try to be as flexible as possible and just take whatever value falls to you. But Watson makes it all the way down to the 208. Olave off the board. So now I have no idea what the hell to do. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can find someone that we are excited about. Okay. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is tough. I think we just go QBs out the rip. Did we just take Dak Prescott here? I feel like we have a teardrop once you have Chris Olave off the board at the 209. I'm not necessarily wanting to go ahead and take any of the veteran wide receivers at this point. I don't want to reach with someone like T. Higgins or Devonta Smith. So we'll pull the trigger on Dak Prescott. Not too excited about going with the running back here in the second round of the startup. If we would have gone with someone, definitely would have gone with JT over Christian McCaffrey. Okay. And no, I do not believe Bijan Robinson remembered me. I didn't want to bother him too much. I just went up and was like, hey, man, massive fan. I actually got to interview you at the NFL draft. I would love if I could take a picture with you real quick. and then took a picture with them, and I ran away. That was the interaction I had. But nonetheless, we got the pick. Okay. I think that's the main thing that matters. Now, Kupp, Andrews go off the board at the 2-3 turn. This is something that you'll notice in Dynasty startups once we get to this time of the year. People begin, I don't want to say completely disregarding, but people begin to think a little bit more short term than they were a few months ago. We know back in May, we know back in April, we know back in March, everybody in their Dynasty League is thinking like, what does my team look 3 years down the line? Once we get to July and once we are in like full-blown redraft season, which I'd say this is probably about that point. I mean, y'all know I'm doing videos every single day on the Flog Fantasy YouTube channel. You know, we're live streaming every single day there. You're beginning to see people push up these guys like Cooper Kupp, they're to pick 12. So I don't know. We're going to mix it up. We are going to go with Dak Prescott, CJ Stroud. I think you can make an argument for a couple different ways. Kyler Murray is a player that we've taken in a ton of these startup drafts. I think you can make an argument that Kyler Murray is actually the best option there at the 210, but I don't want to take the same guys in every single startup mock draft. I want to be a little bit interesting for y'all here. So we're going to go 3 quarterbacks at the gate with Allen, Dak, and Stroud. Yes. Yes, I understand. Sniped you. Fernando says Stroud over Murray. Like I said, I think you make a strong argument. Kyler Murray is a much better option than CJ Stroud. It's more so we just take Kyler Murray in every single one of these. And I want to be a little bit unique for y'all. So if I'm going to go over to flockfantasy.com and pull up my rankings real quick, tell you exactly where we have the combination of Kyler Murray as well as CJ Stroud, and give you a real good example of this. And quick side note, of course, if y'all want to draft with us, we are drafting literally every single day on the Flock Fantasy live stream on Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is best ball, so there's no time commitment at all during the year. I'm sure 99% of y'all know this. So I drafted over 700 teams and won $150,000 last year. And if you want to go draft on Underdog Fantasy, you can sign up with promo code FLOCK, and they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, with promo code FLOCK, you'll get my 2023 Dynasty Fantasy Football rankings. You get a free trial to flockfantasy.com. They have a bunch of player props up for this season as well. But they just launched this Patrick Mahomes special of more than less than half a passing yard for NFL kickoff. This is only going to be available until July 21st. So please make sure you go take advantage of that right now. And this is everywhere Underdog is available in. But yeah, make sure you go sign up for Underdog. Have some fun, get into some drafts with us, which we're doing literally every single day. But yeah, that team at 12, maybe skewing this entire draft board, knowing that they're going ahead and auto-drafting, taking Tyreek Hill, Austin Eckler there at the 3-4 turn. But if I'm pulling up my rankings, yes, I do have Kyler Murray ahead of CJ Stroud. Like I said, wanting to try to get a little unique with this. Don't want to take the same guy in every single one of these mock drafts. Okay. Now Chubb goes off the board, pick 405. Here, let's get our sparkling water going. We need some water here. And if y'all aren't watching us live stream every single day on the Flock Fantasy YouTube channel, just to fill you in, I am now addicted to sparkling water. CMC makes it all the way down to the 406. Metcalf goes 407. Like, I'm completely, if you want to pull the trigger on Christian McCaffrey here, I think this is a fine price point with CMC. Devontae Adams goes 408. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take a running back on his rookie contract. Not going to have to think about this too much. Grabbing Kenneth Walker here at the 410. Obviously, with Zach Charbonnet coming over, you're seeing him fall a ton. But nonetheless, he's on his rookie deal. Is still incredibly young. Make a strong argument that Travis Etienne's a better option than Kenneth Walker. But here when we're picking on the turn, I'm going to see if we can try to get a little greedy and get Kenneth Walker in the 4th and Etienne on the way back around in the 5th. Clearly, it doesn't happen in this draft, but it is what it is. Can't sit here and cry about it. Jack says, have my first Dynasty draft on Sunday. Pulled the 107. Hell yes, my man. Hopefully, the drafts we do today will help you out. I don't know if you're going to be doing a 1 quarterback or a super flex draft. We're going to do both today, though. And we're going to go ahead and take TJ Hockenson here at the 503. What I really like about this team so far is I feel like we have a lot of flexibility through the first 5 rounds, right? Like if we wanted to go ahead, if we wanted to try to win this next season, I think we can do that with a combination of Josh Allen, Dak, Stroud, Walker, TJ Hockenson. But at the same time, if we want to play for the long term, not too worried about any of these players seeing their dynasty value go down going into 2024. If we wanted to pivot to a 2024 or 2025 approach, then at that point, maybe all we're going to do is go ahead and try to sell Dak Prescott, get back a lesser, younger quarterback plus an extra 2024 first, right? Okay. Eric says, can we convert this to a real league? Can't wait to get a haul for one of my 3 quarterbacks, Team 5. Yeah, Team 5 is beautiful, my man. With Lawrence, Watson, Kyler out the gate. Literally could not be better than that. Okay. We have Addison off the board here, 505. So this is something we've talked about as well. If you're looking at projections for this next season, most people are going ahead and most people are putting Addison ahead of Johnson, given the fact that Johnson in the short term will have to compete with Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. In the long term, however, I still prefer Johnson in Dynasty, just given the fact that you don't really know what the situation's like for those 2 wide receivers there in the long term in Los Angeles. Our guy Trey Lance going off the board at 508. Peyton says Team 10 is off to a very rough start. Bijan, St. Brown, Diggs, Jacobs. I like the first 2 picks of going Bijan, St. Brown. Don't really like the Diggs, Jacobs, Pittman combo in the following 3 rounds. Yeah. I do like the first 2 picks. I think you can start your team off with like Bijan Robinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or Bijan Robinson, Garrett Wilson. I definitely would have gone to DeShaun Watson in round 2 if I were them, but that's just me. Now, Dameon Pierce off the board. Okay, that's the team that's auto-drafted. Are people going to get mad if I try to make this team a little more realistic and assign them a different player? I'm sorry. I'm going to change this, and please don't get mad at me in the chat or whatever. I'm going to try to make it a little more realistic. I think that team there at 12, they're auto-drafting. I think they would have taken someone like Geno Smith there instead. Please let me know in the live chat if you hate that I did that and you would rather them auto-draft through the rest of this. Just in my mind, I don't necessarily know if a team that has no quarterback is going to go ahead and take Calvin Ridley over Geno Smith at this point. Let me know if you think, let me know if you want me to do that going forward. If you don't want me, just whatever y'all want is what I'll do. I'm just trying to make this the best and most useful mock draft for y'all. Okay. Now, Javonte Williams off of the 605. So best quarterbacks available. You have Cousins, Pickett, Love, Russ. Running back, Dobbins, Swift, Mixon, Sanders. Wide receiver, Ridley, McLaurin, Aiyuk. Tight end, Kittle, Goddard, Kincaid. Okay, Love goes 609. So at this point, don't exactly know what we're wanting to do here. Let's go ahead and let's try to figure this out. The guy I would want, I would actually have to reach on. Let's reach on him anyway. Who the hell cares? Let's take Jahan Dotson here, 6'10", continuing the trend of giving us the flexibility to either compete in the short term or wait for the long term here. Happy to see you out here, my man. And okay, it looks like people are fine with us doing the fixing the auto pick. So with that team at 12, if they continue to auto, here's what we're probably going to do. I'm going to ask y'all in the live chat who you think should go there, and then we will give them those players. And yeah, I'm going to do another draft of this one. The next one's probably going to be a 1 quarterback draft, though. Okay. So Russ, Kirk Cousins going. Love the value of those 2 guys. Obviously, it's a little difficult for us to take them when we start 3 quarterbacks out the gate. What we probably should have done is we probably should have gone Jahmyr Gibbs over CJ Stroud in the 3rd. That way we could have taken like Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson there at the end of the 6th. Okay. Let's move this over. What are we looking at this point? Can he pick it off the board? We're going to go ahead. We're going to double tap the Washington wide receivers here with Jahan, Dotson, Terry McLaurin, get a little correlation of this team, and essentially make the bet that the Washington passing offense is a little bit better than people are expecting. If that's the case, and somehow Sam Howell is actually good, then we can on both these wide receivers. McLaurin isn't exactly like our previous selections in that with Terry McLaurin, I definitely view him as strictly a contending asset, right? It's not like you're expecting Terry McLaurin to increase his dynasty fantasy football value over the following seasons. I mean, if you're looking at his age as someone that was just drafted in 2019, but stayed 5 years at Ohio State, so he is 27 years old. So, yeah. But Prod, happy to see you out here, my man. Happy to see you. Tyler says we threw off his pick. He was going Geno, had to settle for Debo. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. Just didn't. I think most people there are taking Geno Smith over Calvin Ridley. I wanted this to be a realistic draft. Okay. Now, Rodgers goes 706. Okay. Frymuth off the board. Y'all know I love Pat Frymuth's price in Dynasty. But as we come up with this team here at pick 12, they have Lamb, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Austin Eckler, Dameon Pierce, and Geno Smith. So can everybody please spam the chat real quick? Let me know where you think they should go, the best available quarterbacks. Really, I'd say Derek Carr's like Derek Carr, Brock Purdy are like the only guys you would see get drafted here. Running backs, I think maybe all these guys are in play. You have DeAndre Swift, Miles Sanders, Rachaad White, Cam Akers, Isaiah Pacheco, Aaron Jones, Zach Charbonnet. Wide receiver, Zay Flowers, Amari Cooper, Hollywood Brown, Christian Kirk. So please let me know who you want them to take there at pick 12 and the 801. We're going to pause this draft real quick. And then give them those players. So Fernando says they go Carr and whoever in my mind. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's change DeAndre Swift to Derek Carr. Purdy, Zay, Purdy and Akers, Sanders. Okay, so it looks like we have 2 votes for Purdy, a vote for Zay, a vote for Akers, and a vote for Miles Sanders. Okay, so maybe we give him we just give him Brock Purdy here as well. Let's go ahead and give them Brock Purdy. He had 2 votes in comparison to those other guys only at 1. So then they get their 3 quarterbacks there. Let's resume this draft. I'm sorry if people are annoyed that we are doing that. Just trying to be useful here. Trying my best. Okay. Fernando, I don't get it either, my friend. I don't get why we would be taking a backup San Francisco 49ers quarterback inside the top 200 or so picks. Now, Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift, Zay Flowers all immediately go after. Kincaid falling, Amari Cooper, Rachaad White, Cam Akers, Isaiah Pacheco, Aaron Jones, Christian Kirk, Zach Charbonnet. Kadarius Toney goes. Yeah, definitely a much better price point here than where he goes in those underdog drafts. Akers going 806. Okay, where are we going? Do we want to? I think we actually may want to pull the trigger on Isaiah Pacheco. I think at cost, Pacheco's a decent risk-reward option, right? I mean, he's a running back that has very little when it comes to the team investment into him, and I think it's definitely possible the Kansas City Chiefs look to take another running back soon and maybe get away from Pacheco, but at the same time, he is a year 2 running back that projects to be the starter for the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll mix it up. We'll go Isaiah Pacheco here, 8-10. We were screaming that Pacheco was a sell high candidate earlier in the offseason, but he's kind of won the offseason, and now he's cheaper than he was. So, Tauber says Pacheco over White. Yes, I'm going to take Isaiah Pacheco over Rachaad White, especially with this team here. Okay, Alexander Madison, Christian Kirk, both off the board. Zach Charbonnet goes. I actually would have taken Zach Charbonnet if he would have made it to us. I think we're going to go ahead and grab Deontay Johnson. I want to continue to take wide receivers that can produce this next season, but also aren't so old that if we pivot over to a rebuild, we just have to sell everybody on the team. So if you're looking at Deontay right now, I mean, he's sneaking it around 5 of underdog drafts in particular. I mean, people have expectations of him being a mid to high end wide receiver too. It's like closing in on DeAndre Hopkins with his redraft ADP. Obviously, Deontay Johnson drafted in 2019 in comparison to Hopkins in 2013. Just wildly different ages. Like Deontay, 27. Hopkins, was Deontay drafted in 2019 or was it 2018? Experience 4 years, so yeah, 2019. How long did he stay at Toledo? Dear God. He's got that Terry McLaurin issue. Just drafted, but somehow already old as hell. Okay, so you have A-Chain, Miller, Mac Jones going off the board here in the middle of the 9th. Eric says he really wanted Deontay to fall to him. Well, obviously, Pickens should be going higher than Deontay in Dynasty. But what is crazy is Deontay Johnson now goes like 3 rounds higher than Pickens in those underdog drafts. And here you're seeing Pickens go 3 rounds earlier than Deontay. I feel like maybe the gap with both formats is honestly a little bit too wide and they should be a little closer together. Feels like Pickens should be closer to a 7th round selection here. Deontay should be closer to like an 8th round selection. Okay, David Montgomery goes in. Everybody, I'm about to need your opinion yet again on what this team's doing at the 9-11 and 10-01. They have Lamb, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, a wide receiver. Running back, they have Eckler, Damian Pierce. And quarterback, they have Geno Smith, Derek Carr, Brock Purdy. Okay. So let's pause this real quick. Yeah, they take Alvin Kamara, Darren Waller. There's no way in hell they're taking Alvin Kamara here, right? So quarterbacks best available are Levis, Ritter, Sam Howell, Matthew Stafford. Running backs, Dalvin, James Cook, A.J. Dillon, James Conner, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. Wide receiver, Mike Evans, Rashad Bateman, Jonathan Mingo, Tyler Lockett, Rashee Rice, Elijah Moore. Tight end, David Njoku, Sam Laporta, Evan Ingram, Dalton Schultz. So please let me know the 2 guys that you think that they are going to go ahead and take. Briner says just let him go ahead and ride with the autos. If y'all want them to ride with the autos, that's what we'll go ahead and do. But like I'm thinking if we're looking at this, okay, some running backs that I think are better than Alvin Kamara at this price. Okay, I'm not, trust me, I would like to have James Cook falling to us, but there's just no way in hell it's realistic to see James Cook go behind Alvin Kamara to Dynasty startup at this point. So we're going to at least swap out Alvin Kamara for James Cook for him. Okay. Now, Dylan coming out with the donation. Thank you so much, my friend, says, have a big offer available. Jefferson for Lamb in an early 2024 first. I'd be getting Jefferson. I have 5 2024 firsts that are projected early. Chase my wide receiver 1 and Lamb is my wide receiver 2. So it's very difficult for me to know exactly what we should be looking at when someone says an early 2024 first, because it is very hard to go through and predict how teams are going to perform this next year with how much randomness there is in fantasy football. So I would say in general, whenever I see someone say like an early future first, I just kind of assume the baseline scenario is just it's a random 2024 first. If it's a super flex league, though, and it's an early 2024 first, and that may turn into Marvin Harrison, that may turn into Caleb Williams, that may turn into Drake May, it's hard to move on from Lamb in that pick. If it's closer to just a random first that has a chance to be late, then I'd probably go Jefferson. If you're saying their team is garbage, like there's no way in hell they have a pick that's later than pick 3, then I'm probably going to keep like CeeDee Lamb and Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously. Okay, so James Conner, 10.08. Sam Howell went at the beginning of the 10th. I was possibly going to take Sam Howell if he was going to make it to us. Okay, so Gabe Davis off the board. I think we're going to go ahead and take Brian Robinson. I mean, just speaking of year 2 running backs, trying to find, the right risk-reward ratio with these guys in this range. Brian Robinson was a sell-high guy for us during the season. I'm sure y'all saw a lot of those videos, and I know I probably just looked like a hypocrite taking Pacheco and Brian Robinson here, but they're much, much cheaper, and these are guys that won the offseason. With Pacheco, no added competition. With Brian Robinson, he loses competition with J.D. McKissic going. So, yeah, I'm going to take Brian Robinson there, 10-10. Okay, let's move this over. Will Levis off the board at 10-11. Music in sports asking who has the best team. We'll look at that in just 1 second, my friend. I don't really agree with a lot of their picks, but based off the value at the very top they got, it's almost impossible to say that they don't have the best team. Okay. You see Levis, Stafford go off the board here at the end of the 10th. Long-time member of the flock, Sam, coming out. Thank you, my man. Says 10-team Superflex, start 3 wide receivers. Traded away Devonta Smith, Russell Wilson, and a future first. Got back Richardson and George Pickens. I messed my strategy up in this mock, by the way, but a flock up. Who dat? Well, my man, thank you for coming out. In general, I like the idea of trying to trade up from Russ to get to Anthony Richardson. I just, crap. We're going to take Antonio Gibson. We're going to panic pick him. But honestly, we probably should have taken Desmond Ridder. But yeah, going back to this, I just really don't like trading away our 2024 first at this time of the year. I would say in general, this is the time we want to be accumulating 2024 first, preparing to have a lot of flexibility during the season and construct our teams exactly how we would like. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's nice to trade up to get Richardson. I'd just rather do it while keeping our 2024 first and giving us the flexibility during the year. But Champ coming out says, hey, Mason, I'm looking to trade McLaurin and or Jerry Jeudy. I need a borderline running back 1 and a borderline running back 2. Who should we target in a 10-team PPR 2 quarterback format? So I would say in general, don't love trading for team needs at this time of the year. I mean, if you needed to trade for a team need, I think you're going to be better off doing so once we get to August, once we get to September, and we actually have a better idea of what exactly we need. But with that being said, I mean, if we were to look at this draft board and you were to move off of Jerry Jeudy with where he goes and look for a running back in return, the guys that are going right before him are Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker. If you could get one of those backs for Jeudy and that's what you're really looking for, I think that you're kind of fine with it. And if you're going to be looking at what you have with Terry McLaurin goes right before J.K. Dobbins, Javonte Williams, Dameon Pierce. So maybe that's what we're looking for on that end. Okay, now we will let them auto-draft Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook. Wasn't going to let them auto-draft Alvin Kamara with their last pick, but I feel like here it's not the worst thing. But Brady says 12-team Superflex start 11, gave MT, Lockett, Penny, got Diggs. Yeah, that's just a no-brainer. I mean, obviously, 12-team Superflex start 11, you are a little bit deeper here. And yeah, I mean, we should generally try to pick up the extra starter. But at the same time, I mean, come on. It's freaking Stephon Diggs for Michael Thomas, Tyler Lockett, and Rashad Penny. Definitely want to be taking Stephon Diggs there. Okay. Now we have Jimmy G going off the board, 1204. We're going to fire up another draft after this one. The next one's going to be a 1-quarterback league. Sammy says, why are we passing on Kyler? We said it when we took Kyler back at the 2-3 turn. Essentially, we take Kyler Murray in every single one of these mock drafts or we have this offseason. So just wanted to be a little bit different here and show you all a mock draft where we did not take Kyler Murray. And for the reason that Team 5 got the value on Watson at the 208 and Kyler Murray at the 305, regardless if I agree or disagree with their selections later on, like Devon Achane or James Conner, I think they have to have the best team just based off that quarterback core that they have. Okay. Roschon Johnson off the board. We're going to go ahead, take Greg Dulcich. Actually, no, we're going to take the year 2 tight end in Tennessee. No, we'll go Dulcich now that it looks like Hopkins may be going to Tennessee. Either way, we're going to take one of these tight ends here. And let me show you all this draft board. Before we end this, fire up a new one. Yeah, let's get this new one going, all right? And this next one will be a 1-quarterback mock draft. Draft settings. So please, everybody in here, understand this is a 1 QB mock draft. You should see it with the ADP. You should see it with the starting lineup requirements. And here, let me send the link out in the live chat to this live stream. We'll be at pick. We'll go late this time. We'll go pick 10. Okay, copy the link. Sending the link out in the live chat for anybody wanting to join right now. And I will also send that out in the Discord for members of flockfantasy.com. Anybody wanting to join. Okay, that is sent. Bargustus says rookie draft or startup. Thumbnail says startup. Yeah, it is a startup. Is it titled rookie draft or something? Oh, it's titled rookie draft. Are you kidding me? Oh, God, I'm an idiot. Okay, let me go ahead and fix this. Let's get this draft started. We have one spot left at pick 12 if anybody wants to come in here. But that is Phil. Let's get this started. Okay. Chase, Jefferson, Bijan off the board with the first 3 picks. Definitely agree that these are the guys that should be going off with the first 3. I would just say in general, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Jefferson over Chase. But outside of that, I think these first 4 picks are pretty much standard, right? Like even taking CeeDee Lamb at 4. Don't really know if you have an argument to take anybody other than Lamb here. Farmer Spratt in at pick 4. Going with CeeDee Lamb. Love to see it, my man. Love to see it. Garrett Wilson off the board at 6. Kupp goes before Garrett Wilson, which is interesting. Okay. Mahomes picks 7. A.J. Brown picks 6. Okay, we are on the clock. We're going to reach on Amon-Ra St. Brown here at pick 10. I think this gives us the flexibility that we're looking for. Like if we go CMC, we're pretty much pot committed to try to win this year. We go Amon-Ra St. Brown. We can play for 2024 or 2023. Brees Hall goes pick 12. Waddle 201. Tyreek. We're going to go ahead and take Chris Olave here as well. We're starting this draft off wide receiver with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chris Olave. Farmer Sprat says, I got Bijan sniped from me. Well, my man. I'd have been very surprised if you had Bijan Robinson making it to you. Very surprised. But yeah, it looks like there are a lot of people in this draft that I'm not saying, y'all know we're live streaming every single day on the Vlog Fantasy YouTube channel, right? We are getting in those underdog drafts literally every single day like we did last year. Not going to miss a single day of live streaming until 2024. And if you want to go hop in any of those underdog drafts with us, or if you want to check out any of those player props, you can find that link in the live chat in the description or the comment section. If you use promo code FLOCK, they're going to match first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And please make sure you go take advantage of this right now. They have a free bet out there with Patrick Mahomes more than less than half a passing yard. Should be live in the app for everybody starting now until July 21st. But make sure you take advantage of it now before you forget, because a lot of times I will forget whenever we're supposed to go through and take advantage of one of those special player props. Like, oh, I'll do it in 4 days. I'll do it in 3 days. Oh, I'll do it in 2 days. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I never do it. I'm like, crap. Lunar says, what format is this? Going to be a full PPR, one quarterback dynasty league, my man. Full PPR, one QB. Okay, T. Higgins makes it all the way down there to the 210. So after we take Chris Olave, you have a run on non-wide receivers. Interested to see where just quarterbacks go in this. Daniel Mardo says, love my Mahomes and Kelsey stack. I don't know. My issue is just Kelsey's 34 years old. Or will be 34 years old this season. Maybe we should just ignore it, but I don't know. Angelic says, Dynasty Superflex startup 6-point passing touchdown league. Anthony Richardson, DeShaun Watson, or Dak Prescott, or go wide receiver running back with Lamb, Wilson, Hall, CMC available as well. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take DeShaun Watson here, my friend. I'm going to go Watson, Lamb, Anthony Richardson as the three guys that we want to be attacking. I think you have to make an argument for DeShaun Watson over Anthony Richardson, considering it's a 6-point passing touchdown format and not a 4-point passing touchdown league, where y'all know 4-point passing touchdown formats, they're the only thing that we care about is going to be rushing upside. Or the main thing. I don't want to say the only thing, but the main thing that we care about. Okay. Najee Harris off the board at 305. It's just so funny looking at one quarterback leagues in comparison to Superflex leagues when you're used to Superflex, and just like all of a sudden Najee Harris is going at the beginning of the third round. You're just like, oh my gosh. Okay. Diggs goes 307. Kenneth Walker off the board. Ramondre. Who are we taking here? We're going to go Lamar Jackson. I mean, if you're looking at Lamar Jackson, I think that this is a quarterback that the long-term floor is going to be a lot lower than someone like Trevor Lawrence. And in a super flex format, I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence easily over Lamar Jackson. But I don't really care about the floor of our quarterbacks in a one quarterback format, because the quarterback position is going to be so much more replaceable in a one QB league. I'd rather just focus in on the ultimate ceiling that QB is going to have. So that's why in a super flex format, I'm definitely going to be going ahead taking Lawrence. In a one quarterback format, I think Lamar Jackson as well as Justin Fields get a bump up. Now, this kind of sucks. You have Mark Andrews going off the board at the very end of the third round. I thought there was a shot we could grab Lamar Jackson here and then Andrews on the way back around at the 403. Maybe we would have been better off taking Andrews there at the 310 and then grabbing Lamar at the beginning of the fourth. Looks like that's definitely what we should have done. It's just a pretty big mistake on my part. Okay, now what are we doing here? We're going to go ahead. We're going to take TJ Hockenson. I think if you're going win now, Tony Pollard's going to be the selection you want to make. I just don't necessarily want to commit to the win now approach quite yet. I think Hockenson can help us win this year, but at the same time, I mean, TJ Hockenson is a tight end that is just now stepping into his prime at 26 years old. So I think also Hockenson you have the long-term play with as well. Don't like what we did there at the 3-4 turn. I think we would have been much better off going Andrews there at the end of the third and seeing if we could get Lamar Jackson on the way back around to us in the 4th round. Bargustus says, I was hoping for the Andrews-Lamar stack as well. Yeah, but I don't know. I think we just went about it the wrong way. But Sam coming out with a donation. Thank you as always. Says, rate Dak, Richardson, Geno, Najee, Sanders, Mixon, Kamara, Elijah Mitchell, Deonta Foreman, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Cup, Pickens, Mike Williams, Mike Evans, Jaden Reed, Pitts, Schultz, and a 10-team Superflex start 3 wide receiver. Okay, so if we're breaking this down, you probably have 2 low-end QB1s / low-end QB1, high-end quarterback 2 with Dak Prescott, Anthony Richardson. You have another QB2 with Geno Smith. Keep in mind, this is a 10-team league, not a 12-team league. Running back, I'd say we're honestly probably looking at about like 3 running back 2s in a 10-team format with our group there. But clearly the strength of the team is having 3 wide receiver 1s with Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Cooper Kupp. We have depth as well. I really like the team in general. It looks like we're a team that has enough youth where we're not falling off anytime soon. But at the same time, we have enough production to actually be able to go out there and win this next year. Okay, Farmer Sprat asking how we like his start at pick 4. Lamb, Barkley, Jacobs, Lawrence. I like it. Now, Voodoo All-Star says Anthony Richardson 502. Now, going back to what we were talking about, like Lamar Jackson versus Trevor Lawrence, and in that super flex format, we're going to take Lawrence for the long-term security. In the 1 quarterback format, we're going to take Lamar Jackson for the short-term upside. I think with Anthony Richardson versus Bryce Young, you kind of see the same thing. Where in a super flex format, I think Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young are a lot closer than they are in a 1 quarterback format. Where in a 1 QB league, we don't really care about the floor of the player, and the only thing that we're looking for is that absolute ceiling. Now, I don't like seeing Calvin Ridley go over Christian Watson. I think you kind of have to go ahead and take Christian Watson there. I think you make a strong argument that Christian Watson should have been picked back where we took TJ Hockenson at pick 4. I mean, at the 403, right? I mean, Christian Watson 503 is a phenomenal value. Let's start thinking of what we're going to do. QB, not too exciting for us at this point. We have Lamar. Running back, Swift, Javonte, Mixon, Dobbins, Sanders, Aaron Jones, Cam Akers. Wide receiver, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, George Pickens, Zay Flowers, Chris Godwin, Brandon Aiyuk. Snagid Schultz says, I was amazed I was able to get him there. Who are you referring to, my friend? Richardson? Or no, Christian Watson. Christian Watson, yeah. No, Christian Watson's a great pick. I think you can make an argument that Christian Watson's like you should have taken Christian Watson over Dameon Pierce. Clearly it works out for you to get both guys. Okay, George Kittle off the board. George Pickens goes. And we're going to go ahead and take a wide receiver here. Same age. Aiyuk goes about like 12 spots higher in underdog drafts currently. Let's go ahead and let's take Brandon Aiyuk at the 5'10". I mean, what's crazy is if you ask the majority of people who play Dynasty if they would rather have Aiyuk or Debo, they're going Aiyuk, and here we're getting him after Debo Samuel. Now, Nate says Christian Watson, Chase Claypool. I do think that there are some similarities with Christian Watson and Chase Claypool from their rookie season, but at the same time, I do think there's a fundamental difference between these two players as well. Now, the similarities that you have are both wide receivers win with size and elite athleticism. Both wide receivers had an unsustainable touchdown rate in their rookie season, which fueled them to skyrocket up Dynasty Fantasy Football rankings the following year. Now, the fundamental difference with Christian Watson and Chase Claypool, however, is if you look at the yards per route run for Christian Watson, he was a borderline top 5 wide receiver this past year, only behind guys like Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. So that is why I don't necessarily want to say that Chase Claypool and Christian Watson are the same guy. I do think that Christian Watson's fundamentally a much better wide receiver than Chase Claypool. Okay, so Dotson, Amari Cooper, both off the board. Goddard goes. So we're going to pull the trigger on another wide receiver here. We're going to take Michael Pittman at the 603. Y'all know Pittman wasn't really someone that I was drafting at all a year ago, but that's back a year ago when people were trying to compare Michael Pittman to like Julio Jones just because freaking Matt Ryan went over to Indianapolis. Now it's like the exact opposite of that. Now everybody else is pivoting off saying, oh my gosh, Michael Pittman's the worst guy in the world. I could ever draft Michael. I think, I don't know. Michael Pittman's probably the same guy he always was. I think here 603 is reasonable. I think it's reasonable to say the least. Now, Kirk, Miles Sanders, Chris Godwin, all off the board. Javonte goes 608. Joom Live coming out with their first donation ever. Thank you so much, my man. Says, I have the 103 and a 12-team Superflex startup tonight. I'm torn between Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson. P.S. Huge fan of the program. Love the content that you put out. No, thank you so much, my man. I would say if you're playing in a 6-point passing touchdown format, I'm going to be fine if you really wanted to go ahead and take Joe Burrow over Jalen Hurts, given the fact that if it's a 6-point passing touchdown league, Joe Burrow can make up for the lack of rushing upside that he has, given his passing efficiency as well as passing volume. If it's going to be a 4-point passing touchdown format, on the other hand, I think you actually have to go with Jalen Hurts, the quarterback that has the elite rushing ceiling. It's going to be much more difficult for Joe Burrow to play catch up with the points that Jalen Hurts is going to be able to put up on the ground. So regardless, I think you have to be going ahead, taking a quarterback there, and that's someone who loves Justin Jefferson. I mean, I think Justin Jefferson, like one quarterback format, should be the 101. But if it's a 12-team Superflex league, definitely be going QB. And I definitely think if it's a 6-point passing touchdown format, it's really up to you with whatever you want to do. But if it's a 4-point passing touchdown format, you have to go ahead and you have to take Jalen Hurts. Okay. Yeah, now Roma coming out says, go Hurts at the 103. No brainer if you ask me, man. Definitely can't take Jefferson that early. Okay, Mixon going 703. Fernando says, Team 1 thinks they're in an underdog draft with no running backs. We have no running backs either so far through the first 6 rounds. Obviously, we'll see if anybody makes it to us there at the 710. But best quarterbacks available, you have Tua, Dak, Bryce Young, Kyler Murray, CJ Stroud. Running back, you have Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook, Isaiah Pacheco, Alvin Kamara, Zach Charbonnet. Wide receiver, you have Keenan, Mike Evans, Deontay Johnson, Kadarius Toney, Mike Williams. And tight end, you have Pat Freiermuth, Darren Waller, Michael Mayer. Okay. Yeah, and also there's a chance that if you're at the 103, my friend, you have Josh Allen following you. I mean, in the last startup draft that we did, like the last mock draft, literally right before this, that was a super flex draft, and we saw Jalen Hurts go at pick 2, and I was able to get Josh Allen at pick 3. Okay, so Deontay, Keenan go 707, 708. Keenan definitely not someone I'm looking at here. Deontay Johnson, on the other hand, would have been. But I'm actually going to double tap the tight end position now. We have Hockenson at the beginning of the 4th. We're going to take Pat Freiermuth at the end of the 7th here. Like, I think if you're looking at the rookie tight ends in the case of Kincaid and Michael Mayer, you're really just hoping that they're going to be able to give you the same start that you've had from Pat Freiermuth through the first 2 years of his NFL career. You also don't have to deal with those growing pains now from that tight end going into year 3. So I love Pat Freiermuth at this price point, if I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. Daniel says, I'm headed to the old folks home with this roster. I mean, how? As long as, if you win it, it doesn't matter. But Jordan coming out of the donation, thank you so much, my man. Now, let's move this over a bit. Aaron Jones goes directly after we take Pat Freiermuth. I actually really like our team. Like I said, I wasn't really comfortable with what we decided to do there at the 3-4 turn, going Lamar Jackson, TJ Hockenson. I think we probably should have gone Andrews and then tried to get Lamar Jackson on the way back around in the 4th. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Kadarius Toney goes. I think we probably take Zach Charbonnet. Yeah, let's take a running back that I really did like as a prospect. Obviously, he lands in a very bad situation whenever you're having to go through and compete with touches year 1 and year 2 and year 3 and possibly year 4 with Kenneth Walker. But nonetheless, I think Zach Charbonnet can have a receiving down role, and I do think that this can be a backfield that is up there top 5 to 10 in the NFL in overall production this next year. Really like the prospect profile. I kind of view him as like taking year 1 A.J. Dillon, right? Where you have a running back that if you really need to, you can start. But he also has that handcuff appeal where if the starter were to go down in front of him, all of a sudden he could turn into a league winner. Okay. Now, Jordan asking what our thoughts are with contract leagues. Contract leagues can be very fun if they are set up correctly. Now, the issue with contract leagues is if any minor details are off 3 to 4 years down the road, you may run into some issues. But if you can figure out how to set it up correctly, I think you can have a lot of fun with them. Okay. And Joku off the board, 808. Obviously good for us to see tight ends go whenever we have Hockenson and Frymuth. I mean, since it's Dynasty, we'll go ahead and we'll take another tight end if we love him at value, but it's not necessarily something that we're wanting to do, right? Okay, yeah, and here we have a little stretch of tight ends going with Ingram, Waller, David, and Joku. Pretty much best case scenario for us. Move this down. So best, I just hate how bad sleeper ADP is. Like Dalvin, Kamara, top 2 guys. And what league are you seeing Dalvin or Alvin Kamara go there, right? Montgomery, A.J. Dillon off the board at the 8-9 turn. I really do like those picks. I like those. Young goes 903. So you have Bryce Young going off the board here in the 9th round in comparison to Anthony Richardson in the 5th. Kyler goes 9-5. I honestly was thinking about going ahead and pulling the trigger on Kyler. I really like Kyler in that one quarterback format as well, just given the fact that while, yeah, the floor may be a little bit lower than you would love, at the same time, the ceiling is there. And like I've said a million times, this is what we're going for. Mike Evans goes. Antonio Gibson off the board. Quarterback, you have Dak, Stroud, Daniel Jones. Running back, you have Dalvin, Kamara, Khalil Herbert. Wide receiver, you have Mingo, Bateman, Rice. Tight end, you have Laporta, Schultz, Komet. Schultz goes, I'm actually probably going to reach here a bit. I'm going to go ahead and take Elijah Moore here at the 9-10. Obviously, we need a running back, but, I mean, hell, it is Dynasty. If we really needed someone, we can go ahead and trade for him during the year. We're taking best player available. I think Elijah Moore at this point is pretty close to that. The team there at 111, honestly, probably makes the best decision of this draft and punting quarterback early and still being able to come away with Dak Prescott there in the 9th round. Okay. Roshan off. Sam Laporta. We're going to go ahead. I think we're going to... Oh, is Brian Robinson already out? Brian Robinson's off. Never mind. Do we take Khalil Herbert? No. I mean, with Herbert, he's a short-term option. If we're just going to go short-term option, we'll take Dalvin Cook and we'll say, okay, what if Dalvin Cook signs somewhere, right? The opportunity cost of taking Dalvin's not massive. I mean, the other guys in this range are Kamara, Jonathan Mingo, Rashee Rice. So we'll take Dalvin Cook. If he signs somewhere, we'll be excited about it. If he doesn't, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. I mean, obviously, we'd be looking to trade for a running back at that point. But, I mean, hell, we could also, if this continued down for another 10, 15 rounds, continuously take shots on running backs that maybe are an injury away or on a muddy depth chart, someone like Khalil Herbert, and try to see if we can just find 1 to 2 starters out of it. But you have Elijah Mitchell, Khalil Herbert, Rashee Rice going immediately after. Alvin Kamara there as well. Definitely think this is a reasonable price point on Rice. Downs goes. Josh Downs is someone that's literally not even being drafted in underdog drafts anymore. It's crazy to see the fall. But looks like that should be it for this draft. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us in this live stream. I really hope that y'all got something from this. And let me know if y'all want us to continue to do like a super flex startup and then a 1 quarterback one after that. But yeah, I'll be live later today at 6 p.m. Central, as I am every single day, live streaming underdog drafts. If y'all want to get into a draft with us, we'll be doing that every single day on the live stream until 2024. And also, make sure, I know 99% of y'all are already on Underdog. Please open up the app now before this goes away on July 21st. Before you forget, take advantage of the free line that they have out there with Patrick Mahomes. And yeah, make sure you're using promo code FLOCK. They'll match first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. And with promo code FLOCK, you'll also get our 2023 Dynasty Fantasy Football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com. But I think that's all I have for y'all. Again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Really, really do appreciate y'all. And really hope you have a great day.